Hey everybody, Vaping Gal Philly here with a rebuild review for you today of the Helio. This is one of my favorite drippers that I own. Take the lid off so you can see a little bit. It's got 2 center posts in it, which makes it easy for a new builder. I just rebuilt this and I will show you the breakdown in just a moment. But yeah, so this is the Helio, and we're going to go down, take a look at it, and come back up, and then we're going to talk about it. So I'll see you in just a minute. Okay, so here we have the Helio all torn apart. Here is the bottom post. This goes on top with this ring that lines up. It adjusts, so you can adjust your airflow on it. And then you take this cap and you just make sure your little ring thing there is lined up with the holes the way you want it. I like mine wide open. And then you just tighten it down over the top to where it's all in one piece. I have some 26 gauge wire here and a 2mm screwdriver. Gonna make my coils and then we'll put it all together. And I do 7 wraps. It equals out to around a 0.43 to 0.45. I'm not so worried when I'm wrapping it about making sure that it looks clean, but I do make sure before I take it off, I push it towards the end of the screwdriver and I make sure that it's pretty tight together. I will tighten it up with some tweezers when I put it on. So there is one coil. Don't know how well you can see that, but and let's do another. And there we go. Use my handy dandy wire cutters here. And then what you do is you just, with the Helio, it has 2 outer posts and a center post. It's got 2 holes on it. This makes it excellent for a new builder. So you just put them in the holes. If I can get them to go through, like such. And then I always, they kind of go in at a diagonal. I always take my screwdriver and make it vertical, like such. And then take the little Allen key and tighten them up. If it seems like it's a little slack, you can take tweezers and pull it through to where it's a little more taut, and then you bend it. And then you pull and you bend. That way it holds it in place while you are using your Allen key. You can take the screwdriver out at this point, and you'll be straightening them out again before you're done anyway. And you just go down to where you feel it tighten a little bit. Sometimes you'll notice that the wires back here will pop up just a tiny bit. Okay, so we got one side done. And then I go back in with that screwdriver again and just tilt it to where it is straightened out. And now we're going to come around on the other side and put those in like such. Whoops, I did that on the opposite side, didn't I? I'm not editing that, so you can see that even I am a human and make mistakes, but it's easy fix. And then you just twist this around till your wire kind of curves up a little bit. And there we go. And again, I'm going to push this wire out of the way. I will snip that in just a moment. And I just make sure that I twist it to where it is level with my screwdriver-ish. And then just pop it out. And then I go back and I trim up these wires just to keep them out of the way. Less things for your cotton to snag on. And they're really not necessary for the build. If you do happen to snip some wire, and it gets down in the bottom cap, make sure you get that out of there. It's not good to have that on there. And then of course you always want to throw it on the ohms checker to check out what you're sitting at so you don't build too low. And we have a 0.37, a little lower than I'm used to on average, but it's close enough. I usually do between 0.4 and 0.45, so it's not that much difference. And then we're going to pop it on here so we can work with it a little bit, bend it into shape the way I want it, and then we'll wick this bad boy up. So you just want to pulse it. You're going to see some smoke coming, and then you know, usually when you say there's smoke, there's fire, there will be some as your coils are lighting up. And then you can take it and pinch. And pinch. Make sure when you are pinching these wires that you are not firing your mod, firing your weapon. Such a dork. Can you tell I'm a gamer? You want to make sure that you do not have your mod firing when you pinch, because metal on metal contact will pop your coils. And we're looking pretty good there. Okay, so I'm going to lock my device because we don't want it to fire while we are putting on the cotton wicking. Okay, so here we have our wires done. And I am going to take some cotton that I shaped into kind of a worm and feed it through. You want to do it just like a sewing needle, so you just stick it through the hole of the wire there and just gently pull on it. It should not, if you have to tug too hard, that means it's too thick and you just need to take a little bit off. So I'm going to take one end, pull it down and tuck it. And tuck underneath there. You want to make sure you have enough enough cotton underneath your coil, but not so much that you are suffocating your coils. And you'll definitely know when you try to take a draw off of your mod that you have overwicked it, and then you can just take some out. And then if I have a little string left over, I just tuck it through the side and bring it around the other side. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. Just going to pull my cotton ball apart and roll it to where it looks like a worm or like a noodle, whatever you want to call it. And there we go. It doesn't have to be perfect on both sides, just has to be perfect enough to get it through. And then again, we're going to go through the center of the coil that we wrapped. If I can get it to quit being finicky with me. And pull it through. Like I said, you should be able to pull it through without tugging or yanking. The more you tug and yank, the worse it's going to be, and your coil is going to look very messed up. You always want to make sure it's tucked down, and I kind of tuck it down and up to make sure that those connecting wires to the post have a little bit of cotton to them so they don't get hot spots in them. I found it works very well to do that. And then I always put some extra cotton bedding in there so that you have something to absorb some liquid so you're not having to drip as much. If I can get that to go down in there. And then we're going to put some juice on it. Let's see. Put some snacky smokes. Or let's reread that. How about that? Snacky s'mores on there from Smoke Signals. Going to be reviewing this one in a day or so. I've been test vaping it. Like it a lot, but the review hasn't actually gotten done yet. And I always make sure that it looks saturated on one side, and then I go over and saturate the other and let the other side sink in a little bit. Want it good and not soppy, but you want it nicely saturated so that you ensure that you don't get a dry head of cotton, because it's not very palatable. And then I go back over the other side and give it one more little oomph of juice. Well, let's fire this one and break it in. I never take juice directly, put it on the cotton, and then immediately start vaping it. I always pulsate it and get it moving a little bit, break in the cotton a little bit, because new cotton vape is not the best tasting. It's actually quite nasty to taste, and it'll make it taste a little funk. But if you pre-prep it like this with the pulse firing, gets it nice and vapey. And then I just put a little bit more on each side, just a strip or so. Put our cap on. I line up the holes with the wires as such, make sure they are properly ventilated, and then put your drip tip back on, and there you go, and now you're ready to go. So let's go back up and we'll talk about this vape. Okay guys, so as you can see, the build on the Helio is very easy, even for somebody who's never built before. If you can wrap up a coil, you can use this device. It's not that difficult. I absolutely love it. I love the dual center post in it for that reason. It's so much easier than trying to do the 3-prong, where the middle post, if you're doing a dual coil, you have to try to intersect those coils in there, and sometimes you push the wire back out when you're pushing the other one through. Gets a little frustrating when you are newly beginning. So this is a perfect atomizer for a new rebuilder who wants to have a dripping atomizer, in my opinion. It's one of the better clones that I have found on the market. I'm a huge fan of it. People ask me all the time, hey, I want to start doing dripping. What atomizer would you suggest? I always go for the Helio first. Yeah, it's a great device. So the other thing I wanted to bring up is make sure you are wrapping safe. If you do not have a voltmeter or an ohms checker, get yourself one. You do not need to be unsafely vaping. I don't necessarily trust a variable voltage, variable wattage to tell you the correct ohms, and some of them will not even read past a 0.6. So you want to make sure that you are getting something that's going to tell you what you are wrapping at, and I highly suggest one of these. I got this one from Ryan at c2cvaping.com. Pretty much every website that I know of has multimeters out. I do believe venerablevaping.com has them as well. My friend AJ, I believe he's got them on his site. But all you have to do is just do an ohms checker, OHMS space checker in Google, and you should be able to come up with one and do some research and find one that will fit your budget. Most of the time they're under 20 bucks. And, you know, if you invest the 20 bucks now, you're going to save yourself tons of money on hospital bills later when you vent your battery out. I'm also going to, in the description, include a link to my friend Kentucky Josh's coil builder chart that tells you how many wraps at what gauge and what type of measurement you're using. Like I used the 2 millimeter screwdriver for mine. It will tell you using like a 5/16 drill bit or whatnot, um, what you are building at with those wraps so that you know what you're going to get. I think it's a handy dandy tool and I think everybody should save that website. I definitely did, and I pass it on to a lot of people because it makes sense. It's easy. It's an easy way instead of guessing what you're going to be wrapping. So anyhow, guys, I just wanted to say thank you for watching. Hope this review was helpful to you on how to build the Helio. And until next time, vape on, vape strong, and be safe about it.